where shadows creep, mountains whisper secrets they keep. Who knew the South could hold such lore? Wicked tales on every floor. Sweet home Alabama, not so sweet no more. History's a wild one, crime galore. Through the hills and the haunted pines, truth gets twisted in the lines.
Hey y'all, Jamie here. I'm going to go into Wicked North Alabama today by Jacquelyn Procter Reeves, and the title is Died in Young Manhood. I usually do these history readings in my relic / speakeasy room, but it looks like a tornado hit it right now, and so I'm going to have to get it more organized before I do more videos in there. But anyway, let's get started. All right, Governor Thomas Bibb, which was our second governor, the second governor of Alabama. The first governor of Alabama was his brother, William Bibb. And when he died, Thomas Bibb took over. So, Governor Thomas Bibb owned one of the most inviolable pieces of property in Limestone County. The rich soil bordering the Tennessee River was perfect for growing cotton, the crop that made many men wealthy. His plantation home, Belle Manor, was built in 1826 and became the centerpiece of the community that grew up around it. According to legend, when the railroad bisected the community, an official was sent up and down the line to map the small towns and crossroads. When he inquired about the name of the settlement, someone with a very southern accent responded. With an ear perhaps untrained in southern dialect, the official heard the name Belle Manor as Belle Mina, and so it remains today. It's also called Belmont, and Belle Mina, Belmont, Belle Manor. and today Belle Mina is the oldest and still one of the most imposing of the storybook plantation houses that remain in Alabama. Now the Woodside is the one that burned. It's on the estate of Belle Mina, but it was another plantation house, a smaller plantation house that burned on the property. And that was a historic house too. But I'll put some pictures up though. In 1828, Governor Bibb's fifth child, Porter Bibb, lived in the Belle Manor mansion with his wife, the former Mary Pleasance Betts. In this home, they raised 7 children. One, however, met a premature and especially horrible death. Thomas, born in 1843, was 14 when he started out for a pleasant day of hunting in the summer of 1858. Details of the events are sketchy, but vivid. Not far from his home, Thomas was met by 18-year-old Larkin, one of his father's slaves. The Athens Herald reported that Larkin summoned Thomas into the woods, telling him he had found a turkey's nest and wanted to show it to him. When the two were deep into the woods, away from anyone who could be a potential witness, Larkin hit Thomas 5 or 6 times in the head and left him for dead when he was called by another slave. About an hour and a half later, Larkin returned to the attack scene and found that Thomas was still breathing. Though probably unconscious, Larkin shot Thomas with his gun, leaving no doubt that the young man was finally dead. He then carried Thomas's body to a pond and sunk it with logs. As Athens newspaper article reported, it has seldom fallen to our lot to record a more shocking and barbarous murder, and one perpetrated under circumstances of more atrocity than the one committed upon the body of Thomas Bibb, a youth about 14 years old and son of D.P. Bibb, Esquire, near Mooresville in this county on Tuesday week by a Negro belonging to Mr. Bibb named Larkin. The July 8, 1858 Southern Advocate printed the following story. Horrible murder. On Tuesday of last week, the 29th, Thomas Bibb, a sprightly son of Porter Bibb, Esquire, aged about 13 years, living near Mooresville, Alabama, left his father's house to go to a neighbor's on a hunting excursion. He took with him a double-barrel shotgun, about 3 pounds of shot, and powder in proportion. His absence for several days, therefore, excited no surprise. But on Friday morning last, his dead body was found about a quarter of a mile from his father's house. His skull had been badly broken by a billet of wood found nearby, and several small shot holes on the top and back of one of his shoulders, and some of his ribs were torn out as if done by hogs. His gun, ammunition, and hat were gone. The tracks of the boy were found running, and those of someone pursuing, and marks around a tree, as if the little fellow tried to dodge his pursuer. The pursuing tracks were those of a Negro man belonging to Mr. Bibb, who has been in the woods for several months and has lately been seen more than once in that vicinity. Is suspected of having committed the fiendish murder, and that it was done to get his gun and the ammunition. No pains or expense should be spared to arrest him. Such an outrage is horrible, and its commission has very naturally and properly excited much feeling in that moral and orderly community. We deeply sympathize with the afflicted members of the family and hope that congenial punishment may soon be visited upon the murderous wretch whose action has brought such woe upon them. Sorry, cat. And here is a picture of Belle Mina, right there. It's blocked by trees, and no, you can't see it. I'll put a better picture up soon after the video. The diary of Limestone County resident Thomas Hubbard Hobbs bears an entry dated June 29, 1858. Porter Bibb's son murdered by his servant. According to yet another source, Larkin was angry at his master, Porter Bibb, mad enough to kill him. He wanted to take Thomas's hunting rifle to shoot Porter, but a struggle ensued when Thomas refused to give up readily. Larkin confessed to the ghastly murder. One might assume that in the year 1858, he would have been dealt with swiftly and permanently. However, he was taken into custody and tried for murder. On September 13, 1858, Larkin pled not guilty. The judge ordered the sheriff to summon 100 good and lawful jurors to hear the evidence against him. A jury was impaneled to assess the value of Larkin and determine who lawfully owned him before the sentence was passed. It determined that he was worth $1,200 and belonged to Porter Bibb. Larkin was sentenced to death for the murder of Thomas Bibb. When asked if he had anything further to say, he said nothing. The judge ordered that he be kept in close confinement at the jail until Monday, September 27th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Larkin would be removed from his cell and hanged by the neck until he be dead within the walls of the jail and nowhere else. On September 27, 1858, the sentence was carried out. The tiny Bibb cemetery, protected by a copse of cedar trees, holds the bodies of members of the Bibb family, including young Thomas. With no words to portray the circumstances of his death, the headstone of Thomas Bibb sums up the tragedy with a simple inscription: "Died in young manhood." That's a sad story. You know, anytime somebody is murdered, it's a sad story, really. And hope you enjoyed, though. See you back soon.